Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you this A-80 talking book machine from the Library of Congress. This particular machine has sentimental value for me. I got it off of eBay and did some minor restoration on it. It was in really good shape when I got it, but just kind of need to be lubed up and have the turntable mat replaced. But the reason that this particular unit has special meaning to me is that when I got out of high school, I worked for a company here in Missouri that was repairing these by contract with the government. So I was hired to learn how to fix these boxes and teach others how to make them so that we could do it in an assembly line type process. So I did and was very successful at it, but my boss that I worked for there didn't pay me very much. So I ended up leaving and moving on to better things. But it was a fun job and I learned a lot, especially about things that I'm obsessed with, which are anything related to record players, turntables, vinyl, you name it. Just check out my videos and you'll see that I have a lot of content about turntables and record players. But as we look at this guy, this is the, again, the A-80, and many of the records that were given to these blind and handicapped folks who qualified for them, including Spanish blind and handicapped folks, you would get these floppy records, and this is the one that came with it. This is the instruction disc that tells you how to operate the unit. Ironically, how would you be able to listen to it if you didn't know how to operate one of these? But I digress. Here is the an example of the material that you would get as a blind and handicapped person, and this is Reader's Digest magazine. The entire magazine on 8 sides, played at, yes, you see it there correctly, 8 revolutions per minute. So you can imagine how much material you can get on one of these floppy disks if it plays at only 8 revolutions per minute. So you'd have to have a lot of time on your hands to listen to all of these. But there you go. There it is. Now, the modern form, or the modern, what do you call it, incarnation of the talking book machine is, not surprisingly, an MP3 player. And I believe there's a gentleman on YouTube who has shown off the MP3 version of the talking book machine. So here's the new turntable pad that I just finished putting on there last night. And let's see, here's our speed controls right here. So we have 33, 16, and 8 RPM. So of course these two speeds are standard speeds. You'll find those on modern turntables, but 8 would be the unusual thing about this particular unit. It has a tone arm on it, very much like the tone arm you would see on like those colophone classroom type turntables. And in fact, the stylus is one of those little cartridge styluses that just plug in. And it has 2 styluses, so you can flip it over when one wears out, flip it over and do the rest. There is the emblem for the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped, Library of Congress. And you have your tone and volume controls. And then you have these things here, which are guides, record guides. So if you put a larger size record on here, as you put the record on, it would set up against these guides and guide you to putting it onto the spindle. Originally, it had a gray felt on the turntable, and that felt always deteriorated. In fact, even back in the 80s when I was repairing these, the turntable felt always had to be replaced. So I don't know why they chose to use such a lousy technology for the turntable mat, but whatever. You got a speaker up here in the lid, and the lid is actually removable, so you can remove the lid and set it off to the side and kind of go hi-fi with it. And the sound quality is actually pretty good. One unique feature about it also is the fact that it has an auto turn-off, auto shut-off. So when it reaches the center of the record, the motor shuts off. Okay? So I'll go ahead and throw the original instruction record on here and just play a little bit of it for you. Another little piece of trivia from my past is the fact that the guy who narrates this record was one of our inspectors who would come out and inspect the machines after we had refurbished them. And so I actually met this guy. And he was an older gentleman even back then in 1988 or 89. So I don't even know if he would still be with us. But anyway, this is him on this particular record. And again, playing at 8 RPM.
The instructions for the operation of your talking book machine are recorded in English on this side. Instructions in Spanish are recorded on the other side.
Las instrucciones para el uso de su tocadiscos son grabadas en español en el otro lado.
These instructions will discuss the controls and functions of the machine. At appropriate points, I will pause to allow you time to locate whatever is being discussed. As you listen to these instructions, the machine's carrying handle should be facing you. This record is being played on a round turntable using a device known as a tone arm. To reach this portion of the record, you moved the tone arm from the tone arm rest to the edge of the record and turned on the paddle-shaped power switch. For future listening, it is recommended that you always follow this procedure. First, you place the tone arm on the record, then push the on-off power switch to the right. This will help you avoid inadvertently damaging the record. The power switch is located directly in front of the tone arm rest. Next, move to the right edge of the tone arm rest. Slightly behind and to the right, you will find a roll-type control that changes the tone of the recording. When it is rolled away from you, the sound will be higher, and toward you, the sound will be deeper. Just behind the tone control is another roll-type control that changes volume. When it is rolled away from you, the sound will be louder, and toward you, the sound will be softer. Under the front edge of the tone arm itself is a cartridge with 2 diamond needles. When one of the needles becomes damaged or worn, the other needle can be brought into playing position in the following manner. Locate the small lever which protrudes from the bottom edge of the tone arm. Push this lever down and continue rotating it under the arm until it stops at the opposite side. The new needle is now ready to use. When both needles need replacement, follow this procedure. Lift the tone arm slightly. Using your thumb and forefinger, grasp the tabs on the needle cartridge and pull the cartridge firmly toward you. To insert the new cartridge, hold the tabs with the needle toward you. The cartridge is shaped to fit into its holder only in the correct direction. Insert the cartridge in its holder and push it firmly back until it stops. Replacement needle cartridges may be ordered through your library. Some records in the Library of Congress collection are 10-inch hard discs. There are 2 adjustable tabs you may use to center these 10-inch discs on the turntable. One is at the right rear of the turntable. The other is next to the tone arm support. Turn both tabs as far counterclockwise as they will go. They should now point toward the turntable spindle. When you place a 10-inch record on the turntable, follow this procedure. With the right-hand edge of the 10-inch record tilted slightly downward, slide it to the right across the turntable until it touches both tabs.
Well, this will end our demonstration of the talking book machine, model A-80. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'd like to keep it under 10 minutes because I don't want to completely bore you to death. But be sure to check out my other videos about turntables and about making recordings for turntables. I actually have a record cutter. In fact, this thing's sitting on my record cutter, enclosed in that lovely box. Have a great day.